Welcome back to Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura, the stuttering guitarist. After the end of this video, you'll see the drawing for whoever wins the Black Mountain picks. If I have your information, I'll shoot you an email. If not, please contact me. My email's in the description, and we'll get you set up. I'll mail you out the sample pack with the 4 picks. Thank you to everyone who entered. So this week I wanted to talk again about picks, but from a slightly different angle. So, you know, I do the acoustic coffee shop every week, and when I go out live, there are a lot of things that can hinder you with your tone, where it can be coming through too bright in the system, it can be coming through too dark, and you don't really have the ability to mess with the EQ, especially if you showed up and it's an open mic setting. And so what I've learned is a couple of tricks, actually just using my pick to alter the tone of the guitar just kind of on the fly. So this is something I didn't really start experimenting with for maybe the first 10 years I was actually playing out. I kind of ignored, I didn't think about a pick, it was just a mean to an end. So what I kind of discovered is you can make your tone warmer or brighter literally based on your pick position. So the extremes are, I'll normally pick right by the sound hole here. That's typically where I get, you know, what I want out of the guitar, the bass response, etc. But I would see some of the old country flat pickers, if they wanted something extra bright, they'd go really close to the bridge. So here's my normal tone, but if I move it to the bridge, I mean, that's extreme, but again, it brightens up as you get closer to the bridge, as the string tension gets a little tighter. So again, that's extreme, but if you're having trouble cutting through the mix, it's one way just by brightening up your tone that you can get a little bit of a boost without having to mess with your EQ. So I would just kind of play with it and find the balance of getting the tone I wanted, but also getting that added brightness. And for finger picking, it's the same thing. Then move closer to the bridge. So the opposite's true as well. And this is, I saw this watching the band Heart. Nancy Wilson had an old electric acoustic back when the piezo's were really, really sharp and biting. And obviously acoustic electronics have come a long way. But I noticed she had a pick pattern on the upper horn of her guitar. It had worn. So here's a really bright tone. But if you go right up to the fretboard, so again, on the fly, if I was having trouble and my tone was too bright and too piercing, whether it's the equipment, whether it was my pickups, I could move my picking fingers from down here and go right up on the fretboard. And move it back. And that's where I realized where they would get those pick marks, especially those older electric acoustics where the piezos were just so biting and so trebly. By moving up your strum, comes back again. So just some simple ways when you don't have the opportunity to do a sound check, do an EQ, just by moving where you're doing your strum, where you're doing your picking, you can add or remove treble and more bass and mid. So all the way up here, this is about as far as I'm really comfortable because I don't like the feel of hitting the fretboard too much. Then move it up to all the way for the extreme. And so my normal, where I find the most balance, is I'll actually rest my finger just at the bottom of the sound hole just to get my positioning, but right around here. I hope that's helpful. It seems like such a simple thing, but just by moving where you're making your pick strokes, where you're doing your finger picking, you can add or remove treble from your playing, and on the fly, it's really great just if you don't have the ability to do a full sound check, but also to add different dynamics to your playing. So if you want to do rhythm up here, but you want a little more biting for lead, you just move down. And then if you're up here, so just something to mess around with and, you know, dial in your tone, especially in a live gig where you don't have a lot of control. Well worth practicing. Thank you again to Black Mountain Picks, who sponsored last week's video and the giveaway. I've used these for years. I don't see that ever changing, especially I don't drop the pick anymore. And if you've ever done that, that's a nightmare. So thank you for tuning in. This has been Jeremy Laura with Strings and Pucks. Please hit the like, please subscribe, and I'll see you again next week.
Well, thank you everybody for all your support for the channel. I've just finished the prize wheel. I wanted to do it on the screen, but I'm using my phone, and unfortunately I'm getting a ton of inbox messages because hockey season has just opened this week. Some of you know I write for Hockey Hot Stove, and the inbox over on the X account is kind of blowing up with people doing season updates and transaction updates. So thank you again to everyone who entered. I've tried to keep the screen. Tom F., you're the winner. I'll be reaching out to you. And as you can see, I'm still getting notifications. But again, thank you everyone who entered. I'll be doing more giveaways as the opportunity arises. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.